Kirsten Liebelt, good to see you. Good to see you. It's Tuesday. Woohoo! It's Tuesday. Let me see here. Am I actually not live on Facebook? Hold on. I have to see. How are you guys doing? Come on in. We're going to talk about insulin resistance again because this is what we do. So every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, we talk about insulin resistance. I was raised by a type 2 dad who died at 63 from type 2 diabetes, and I'm Italian. I have tons of obesity and type 2 in my family, and I never, ever, 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 ever thought that I would change my ways. Like I was kind of committed to not. I was like, it's pretty much never going to happen. But thank God it did because, again, if you can turn something around and like not have all of the bad effects, and it was a lot easier than I thought, but it does take a little bit of time. Just as a little housekeeping note, in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, and you can still get in there. Just make sure you give your email. And we're doing the challenge, the 5-day challenge, and it's our 28th one. And yesterday was day one. It was the most first time people that I've ever had in a challenge. And here it's our 28th one. So this is very exciting. So you're not alone. You're not behind. We do this every month. I think that Terry said it was her 16th. I think it was her 16th. I'd have to go back and look. But anyway, I'm telling you, like, if you will give yourself permission to like be on a track to get success and to have victory, you're going to feel so amazing. But you do have to like take that first step. So that's at 3 o'clock Central Standard Time today. And today we are going to talk about here right now. We're going to talk about the silent threat. Bum, bum, bum. So dramatic. How insulin resistance turns cholesterol dangerous. Now you have to listen to that sentence. Insulin resistance is making my cholesterol more dangerous. Like that's what you have to hear. Okay. Okay. Good morning from Shakopee. Good to see you, Jody. Shakopee. That's so fun. You're not even very far from me. So you're like maybe a half an hour. I grew up in Eden Prairie, it wasn't Shakopee, it was Chaska, where I actually got my driver's license when I was 16 years old. So there's a little side note for you. That was my backyard forever. Good morning, Brenda. Good to see you. Everybody's here. Come on in on Facebook. It would just be so amazing for you to join in today. We do this every day at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And so come on in. Sit for a minute. Get a cup of coffee. Here's my water today. I don't even have my huge bottle. I already used that with my walk this morning. Okay, so I was looking up, I'm going to talk about this whole cholesterol thing. This is actually coming from a heart surgeon. So like if you have a minute and this is of interest to you, pay attention, make sure that you like things and subscribe things and share things if you feel like other people need this information, because I just go out and I find some of the best cream of the crop that I can get so that I can bring it to you, because I'm not a doctor, but I am like a really good friend. I make a really good friend. So we can do it that way. And it's just because I felt like I was super delusioned as to how everything was going, and how they just kept telling me that everything was genetic, and they just kept telling me that everything was, like I was going to have to live the life that my dad lived. And I just wasn't going to do that. Like I knew that inside of me, but I just didn't know how I was going to accomplish that. And now I have. So this is what we talk about. All right. So cholesterol is not the enemy. Number one, cholesterol does not make cholesterol. That's number one. I know that they have told us all sorts of things, but we have to separate it out. And so I felt like this was a really good help of information from Dr. Philip Ovadia, Ovadia. He has an Instagram feed. Okay. He's a heart surgeon. He's done over 3,000 surgeries. So he's not making crap up. Okay. He's not new to the neighborhood. All right. But what if cholesterol isn't the bad guy? So let's get a proper perspective. Okay. You've been told for years that eating animal foods like meat, butter, eggs is the reason your cholesterol is high. But that's not the science. So are you going to follow the science? Sorry, I had to laugh at that one. The latest science is saying what heart surgeon Dr. Philip Ovadia sees every single day It tells a different story. Cholesterol is not the villain. The real issue is, who can fill in the blank? Come on, who can fill in the blank? What's the real issue? You guys know it. You know it. You know the answer. Insulin resistance. Insulin resistance. We talk about this a lot. So, you're sitting like maybe in your doctor's office and your doctor says, oh, your cholesterol is high. And you instantly picture like clogged arteries, heart attack risk. And you walk out with an STATIN and no one checks your fasting insulin. No one asks about your blood sugar spikes. Maybe you skip steak and eggs because you're scared of cholesterol. My mother did this all the time. She ended up type 2 dementia. None of that was even in her family history. Terrible. But you feel good about eating whole grain toast. Whole grain toast. It's good for you. Orange juice, cereal. That's exactly what is spiking your blood sugars and calling on insulin. It creates the inflammation and the damage in your blood vessels. So remember how we talk about the trunk of the tree. The trunk of the tree is insulin resistance, and everything else is a branch off of this tree of insulin resistance. Like, it's mind-boggling. This is a rabbit hole worth going down. This is something worth paying attention to. I did a phone consult yesterday with just the sweetest customer that I have, and her life is pretty stressful. And she's just starting her journey and giving herself permission because she knows that her stress isn't going to go away anytime soon. Right. And we were just talking about how to trade out foods, etc., and how, stress can impact your body and whatever. And sometimes, we just don't even understand all of the different factors that are coming because of insulin resistance and that tree trunk. And it's so important that once you start to understand, all of a sudden you're able to change the way that you're viewing food and supplementation, et cetera. So here you are thinking that you're following the food pyramid, you're following, the marketing, you're following the oatmeal is heart healthy. No, it's not. Cheerios is heart healthy. No, it's not. Actually, it's not. And when you're insulin resistant, you have to back up that bus. Okay. But what she did say is that, okay, so even here she is in the middle of her learning. She's in the middle of trying to get her brain to wrap around some of these concepts that are new to her. Right. And she's only been on supplementation for a month. And she goes, but I feel so good because you're finally addressing the root cause. And if you can think in terms of a root cause issue, man, this episode is for you for root cause understanding. So animal foods are not the enemy. Cholesterol is literally a Band-Aid. Your liver, do you understand your body creates cholesterol for a reason? Because you're fearfully and wonderfully made. It shows up to actually repair damage. It's the spackle that goes into the damage that's in your blood vessels caused by, it can be stress, it can be high blood sugar, it can be high blood pressure, it can be all sorts of things. But it's not cholesterol that's rising and creating the issue. Cholesterol is rising to patch the issues that are currently there, right? So it rushes in to patch things up. So this is high sugar, grains, blood sugar spikes, insulin surges, inflammation in your vessel walls. Cholesterol rushes in to patch things up. But if cholesterol particles themselves, now this is the interesting part. So this is where you listen up for just a minute, okay? If cholesterol particles themselves become damaged, and I'm sure that none of us have probably ever heard that our cholesterol particles can get damaged. Like, why would we think that cholesterol particles, and why would we think that? We would never hear that, right? That's not on the morning news, probably. But if they can become damaged by this environment, they get stuck and they get inflamed. And that's when the plaque forms. Okay. So the question then is, because we're reverse engineering this, so what is damaging our cholesterol particles? This is the question. So Dr. Philip Ovadia, heart surgeon, says most heart disease he operates on could be prevented if insulin resistance was addressed. So if cholesterol isn't the bad guy, and he's done 3,000 surgeries, over 3,000 surgeries. So if cholesterol isn't the bad guy, you don't need to fear meat, butter, and eggs. Like God gave us perfect food, right? We have just turned it into a crop nation, and a bad crop nation at that. Like we did it really badly. Like we were like, pour on the glyphosate, like, genetically modify everything so that it can be like higher yields and better revenue and all this stuff. We've just made such a mess. What you need to fear is constant blood sugar spikes from sugar, grains, processed foods, stress-driven eating. I was talking to that with her yesterday. You're not going to be able to fix that trigger right away, that stress eating. I get it. I took care of my mom with dementia for 5 years. Very stressful. She's dealing with something similar. And, it's kind of like, you might not be able to fix all of your triggers. You might not be able to fix your emotional eating. You're eating because you're bored, you're stressed, you're tired, you're mad, you're happy, you're sad. You're like the whole gamut, right, of the reasons why we eat. But it is important to understand that what you're eating in that moment, and this was my conversation with her, what you're eating in that moment can change everything, and it can buy you so much time so that you can eventually deal with, why did I feel that way? Why did that stress me out? Blah, 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 blah. All of those things that we have to do. The gift of assessment is what I call that. So here's the big one. Instead of only asking your doctor about cholesterol meds, ask them about your insulin levels. Will you please ask for a fasting insulin, right? If your sugars look normal, I hear this from you all the time. My sugars are normal. My A1C is normal. So I don't think I'm insulin resistant. Two separate conversations that both need to be addressed. That doesn't mean your insulin is under control. Elevated insulin silently damages for years before the blood sugar shows it. Okay, so let's go through the cycle really quickly before I give you some major encouragement, okay? Possible streaming issue on Facebook. I don't know. Somebody put a comment in on Facebook and let me know if you're in on my business page, Kirsten Liebelt, or my personal page, Kirsten Fergali Liebelt. I would so appreciate that because I don't know why StreamYard's being weird today, but I apologize. So this is how this goes. So for years and decades, we could be like spiking our sugars. We're just spiking our fuel. It's a normal thing. Like your body wants fuel. Your body is happy for fuel. You eat food, it turns into fuel. But sometimes that fuel, it's kind of like it's turning into sugar because your body wants that, right? It wants the energy, but it's going up really high and really high and really high because of the choices that we're making. Because we are, I was talking to her yesterday about, so what about potatoes? And what about, it's like, because we basically we've been brought into this world of the way that we eat in the United States, where we are constantly like, we get up in the morning and we have cereal, sugar spike, skim milk, sugar spike. We go get a Frappuccino, sugar spike. We have a Subway sandwich, sugar spike. We have, trail mix or a granola bar, sugar spike. I mean, like we're hitting that bell constantly, bong, bong, ding, ding. And your pancreas releases insulin more and more and more and more to deal with it because it's trying to capture it and put it into your cell for energy. That's its job. But if it can't do that because your cell closed the door and changed the lock, your pancreas just makes more insulin. Inflammation goes up, damage to the blood vessels starts to begin, holes in your gut begin, all sorts of crap happens because of insulin resistance. And you don't even know your fasting insulin is high because insulin is a hormone and they are not checking your insulin. Frustrating. So they're waiting for your sugars to rise and you're like, well, I think I'm okay. They told me my labs were fine. But they're not checking your insulin. So what he's saying, and again, I'm not seeing any comments, so I apologize. When I get off, I'll go look for comments. StreamYard's not showing them to me today. What he's saying is ask them about your insulin levels. This is a heart surgeon giving you advice. Dr. Philip, what did I say it was? Otavia. I want to say it right so you guys can look him up. Go look him up on Instagram. Ovadia, Ovadia, Dr. Philip Ovadia. Okay. Ask them for an insulin test, because your sugars could look normal. This happens all the time, but that doesn't mean your insulin is under control. Elevated insulin silently does damage for years before your blood sugar shows it. But you can change how you diet, how you view your diet, your supplementation, and even your conversations with your doctor. You don't have to fear cholesterol. You need to target insulin resistance. It's all about insulin resistance. I know I'm a broken record, but if you're afraid of eating like the very foods that could help you heal, and you're tired of hearing that your cholesterol is high, take a pill. It's time to change the conversation. And that is a lot of what we do inside of the group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And you can always jump in there, just give your email to get in. But in the challenge, what I'm doing is I'm working to teach you ingredient trade-outs, food ingredient trade-outs. As a type 2 family, like I'm the only one in my immediate family that avoided type 2. My dad, my mother, my siblings, and then the Italian family at large. Lots of type 2 and obesity. I should have been the one. I was gestational with my first baby at 22. It should have been me, right? But because it's actually not genetic, okay, blah, 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 genetic predispositions, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. That's fine. I'm good with that. But it's not a given. Just like it was not a given that my mom had 0 of it in her family, but she ended up with it. And everything else that came with it. She ended up with renal cancer, lost a kidney. She ended up with type 2 diabetes, and she ended up with dementia, type 3 diabetes, insulin resistance of the brain. So both sides, there's not a given, both sides. So when I teach food ingredients, which is what I'll do today in the group, I'll teach the trade-outs. I had to assess myself, right? So in assessing myself, I asked myself a lot of questions, like, what are the foods that I actually do love? And how do I trade that out? And if I can't fix that stress trigger right now, what can I be eating instead of grabbing the potato chips? What else can I grab? What else can I do? I was talking to her yesterday about making a mug cake, and I was just giving that as an example. I don't know if you guys have ever made those before, like keto mug cakes and whatever. It's like, I don't eat them all the time. I don't. But the reason why is because it'll stall my weight loss, right? So I've lost 3 sizes in my 50s. After my cycle stopped, and I've kept it off, and I'm still going. And it's all because I changed the lens as to how I was looking at everything through. I was no longer looking at weight loss through the lens of counting points. I was no longer looking at it through the lens of calorie deficit only. I was no longer thinking that I had to go do HIIT workouts. I was no longer thinking whatever, fill in the blank. There's a lot of them. I was like, oh, okay, wow, I have never heard this before. And most of it probably came from Maria Emmerich. So you're telling me that if my insulin is high, I can't burn fat? Like, okay, so what do I do about that? And what do you mean I can't burn fat if my liver is like sluggish? Like, what does that mean? Like, why would that be? And I began to change things according to that. So I always teach sugar, grain, and legume free for somebody who's insulin resistant. And then when it comes to supplementation, I'm very targeted. I talk about the liver, the gut, and your insulin. Because if you could target those, this is why she said to me, she goes, like she's in the middle of she thought she was stressed a month ago when she started, put it that way. She even asked me, she said, okay, this is what I got going on. Do you even think I should start? And I said, well, you've got 2 choices. And we kind of talked, and she goes, okay, I'm going to start. I'm going to do this. And so she made that decision. And then something else happened 10 days ago. So on top of what she already knew was going to be challenging, something else happened. So that finds us then on the phone talking about, oh, okay, so obviously my stress eating isn't going to go away overnight, but then what should I grab? Okay. And I gave her some recommendations, because you can still live within some boundaries and parameters of things that aren't going to spike your foods that you actually love. But the thing is that in and around all of that, because of how she's supplementing for her liver, her gut, and her insulin, she goes, but I just feel so much better. Just feeling so good. I'm like, yep, And you've only just begun. You've only just begun to get your body to come into some sort of an alignment so that it can literally deliver you results. You have to work with your body so it can deliver you results. Get that insulin down, get that liver function up, support the healing and the sealing of your gut. I already feel so much better, she says. Yep, let's do this, right? Okay, so the food is in the group. I do have a free protein blueprint for anybody that wants that. I'm going to run through some supplements for you. I never want there to be confusion. I know this. I've been taught this, and it is 100% true that a confused mind does nothing. It does nothing. And that is, Luana, you finally started today. Good for you. Yay. Good for you. I'm so excited. Oh, I love it because I know how good you'll start to feel because your body will start to respond like, it's good. But a confused mind does nothing. And if I just I can talk fast and I can give you a lot of information because I've been doing this for a really long time. And that's why I always tell you, like, reach out in Messenger so that I can, help you if I'm not clear here. But my first and last name, Kirsten Liebelt, and for Facebook and YouTube, it's right here. It's right here. There's a little box there. It tells you my first last name.com, kirstenliebelt.com. And so when you get there, this is my site right here. There's a product spotlight. I'm going to talk about these 4 things right here, but there's my before and after picture. And then right here are 3 resources that are completely free. Okay. Just so that you know. And if you go all the way down to the bottom, there's that Facebook icon that you can get into the group through. And there's actually a phone number down there you could text. So everything is available for you. Super easy, streamlined, clear. I don't want there to be any confusion. Okay. Got it? Okay, good. All right. So this is what I do is I talk about how this is pillar number 1. I call it pillar number 1. Maybe that's a strong word. Opportunity number 1. I don't know. This is the trio. These are the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. This is where I started. And they fully supported me in losing 3 sizes in my 50s. Okay. So I was a 2X. I always have a picture on my TikTok. I was a 2X and I've lost 3 sizes. And now I'm on my way to my 4th size loss. So I'm just telling you how that kind of goes because it's addressing everything I just talked about. Literally, if you go back to the beginning, if you just jumped on and you're on the replay, go back to the beginning. I addressed liver, insulin, and those are the 2 things that are addressed here. Add in blood sugars and metabolism. That's what we're doing right there. Some people start only with that. In Canada, if you are one of my amazing Canadian customers, I have a Canadian link for you. Ask me. Get into my inbox and go, I need your Canadian link. Or you can find it on my site. But I don't want you to have to hunt and peck. I don't want you to feel that you have to hunt and peck for stuff. So Canadian people, on the front page of my site that I will give you a special link for, you'll see those 3 products listed because there are other pieces that I'm going to share right now that are not available in Canada. And I'm really sorry. They just haven't launched yet. Okay. So the second opportunity or pillar is the gut primer and the probiotic. So I don't know if you understand how insulin resistance is creating leaky gut. It's literally creating holes right inside of your gut lining. And the inflammation is just so high in your body. And I'm convinced that this is why people are like, oh my gosh, I ache, my joints ache. I can feel the inflammation. I'm so bloated. I've got so many issues going on, like with my digestion, especially even more, a little more compounded if you've lost your gallbladder, et cetera. That's where this comes in. It's a green powder. So for people who don't like to take pills, those are the 3 pills. Now I'm going to talk about everything that's not a pill. So if you're not a pill person, this is perfect for you. This is a green powder that has 6 different blends in it, and it literally does everything for your gut, like everything. You're getting the greens, but they're fermented. You're getting like alkaline spices. You're getting, digestive enzymes. You're getting all the things. And so if you're thinking liver, if you're thinking constipated, you have indigestion, you lost your gallbladder, all of these things, this is what I literally take this every single morning. I would put it in probably about this much water, maybe even a little less, just a little bit of water, and froth it up with my zhuzh, my frother. It's over. Oh, no, it's right here. Here's my frother, just like this, zhuzh. And I take it like a wellness shot because it just tastes like green tea. So it's not like It's not a chocolate milkshake. I wish it was a cookie dough blizzard. That's what I wish it was, but it's not. But this is literally comprehensive, right? And then you add the probiotic, and now you have a gut reset protocol that can, it can stand on its own or it can get incorporated. Okay. So that's number 2. Number 3 is the orange pixie stick. And this is helping with targeting visceral fat. Last night, so I've been sharing the testimony of Magda, who over the last year, she did rounds. She did the total body reset. I'll tell you about that because that's my 4th thing to tell you. She did rounds with this, with the other products, 90 days on, 30 days off. Okay. Because it's a thermogenic and you don't want your body to get used to it. And after a year, she lost 6 inches off of under her bra, 5 from her waist, 3 from her hips. Last night, I got a text from Terry, who is also a Gold Star Queen testimony. 62, lost 49 pounds last year, weighs less than she did when she was 30. She goes, okay, well, Magda told you her inches. I want to tell you mine. And let's see if I can remember them because I posted them in my stories. I think it was, I want to get it right. I think it was 3 under her bust. I think it was 4 across her chest, 3 under her bra, 4 on her waist. And I think she said her hips were a couple inches, but she said that across the biggest part of her belly, the protruding part of her belly, 2.5. And she said, I am so happy. I am so happy. And this is targeting from the inside out. So if you know you have, okay, you don't need a diagnosis. If you are insulin resistant, you have visceral fat, because that's the whole point of what's happening, is it's laying it down in your liver and around your organs. So I'm just telling you that. I'm not making claims. I'm just telling you. And Magda's the one that had the fatty liver MRI that went from bad to mild. So I'll let other people's testimonies talk for everything. And then this is all by itself at the top of that page. You'll see this is the total body reset. So 3 pills, an orange candy powder you put on your tongue, a white powder probiotic that you put on your tongue, and then this you mix up in a little bit of water. That's called the total body reset. The last one is, can you get, yes, Barb, I will send you my link to Canada. And this is what will be available. I'll check and see. The probiotic might be also, which is very important, but this trio, which is exactly what I've used to lose 3 sizes in my 50s, changing out my foods and supporting insulin, sugars, liver, and metabolism. So just to let you know, but I'll get that for you, Barb. And then the last one is, if you're just like, listen, I've heard you talk about fatty liver before. I've heard you talk about just resetting my liver before, and that's all I want to think about right now. Then I'm going to take 3 of these away here out of the total body reset. And I'm going to talk to you about these 3 only. This is the gut primer, the orange pixie stick for the visceral fat, and the liver tablet, the supplement that supports your liver. Those 3, liver, liver, liver. So notice how out of the total body reset, 3 of them are for your liver. If you have a sluggish liver, you can't burn fat. If you have high insulin, you can't burn fat. Okay. So I just want you to know what you're looking at when you look at my site, because again, a confused mind does nothing. So let's not do that. Right. Okay. You cannot have a probiotic due to SIBO. Very interesting. That is so interesting, because I have somebody else that does, and she doesn't have an issue with it, but that's interesting. You can't swallow pills and you're very interested. This is, you're diabetic, not overweight. Perfect. You know what? I'll take a screenshot. You go ahead and go normally, because this will disappear when I'm off of my live from Instagram. So I'm going to take a screenshot and then I will reach out to you, Maria, and I will share with you things. So she's saying that, can she have a link, because she wants things that aren't pills, because she's had cancer and she can't swallow pills. So I know that there are people out there that are like, I can't do pills. And I'm like, that I'm so happy to help you. What is the cost for the 3 liver? Hold on. I had that written down the other day. Uno momento, por favor. The liver reset is $157 together. These 3 together is $157. I will tell you this though. The customer campaign, always make sure to register as a customer. Always do not check out as a guest. You miss out on potential free shipping. You miss out on the opportunity for the customer campaign. So these three, if they're 157, right? The gut primer, the visceral fat burner, which is the orange pixie stick, not lying, tastes like candy. You put it on your tongue. And then this one. 3 months in a row at 150 or more, 150, 150, 150. On that third month, automatically, they will take off $75. And in Canada, I just had somebody become a new customer yesterday from Canada, and she wanted the deal from Canada, 200, 200, 200, and they will take off 100 on that third month. They have to be consecutive months. They do not have to be on an auto ship. They do not have to be on a certain day of the month. It can be right now, the 8th, were we on the 9th of September? Whatever we are right now. What date are we on? We're on the 9th. You could do the 9th of September, the 1st of October, and the 30th of November. They could be staggered. It doesn't matter. 150, 150, 150, $75 off. So this one would qualify then, right? Because it's 157, 157, 157. And then that one, instead of 157, it would be under $100, right? It'd be like $75. 78, something like that. Math, math and all the things. That's a great, like, who else is paying you to get healthy? I get so excited about stuff like this. My father was, he was the son of an Italian immigrant. So I think this way. It's in my blood just a little bit. I'm just going to tell you it that way. It's in my blood. Anyway, so that's kind of the overview. Today at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, and you can jump in there, give your email to get in there. I'm going to do ingredient trade-outs. And this is our 28th one. We've been doing this for over 2 years. So that if you want to get started on any configuration that I just gave you, and you're like, I want support. I want encouragement. I actually want to view things through the lens of insulin resistance. I'm tired of losing a few, gaining more, losing a few, gaining more because of, a program that's not made for somebody who's insulin resistant, or they have you on such a restriction of calories that it's just not serving your body at all. Like it's just the wrong focus. You're like trying to put, a jet engine in your car. You're like trying to, you're trying to fix your bicycle, and you're changing out the tires on your bicycle, and you're using SUV tires. Like it doesn't make sense. So this is why you always feel like you're missing. Why isn't this working for me? I don't understand. What am I not getting? This isn't quite working for me, but why? Why can't I get the peg to go in the hole? What is it? It's insulin resistance. That's what it is. And nobody has come along and told you that if your insulin is high or your liver is sluggish, you can't burn fat. Like these are just biological conversations, but nobody's having them, or few are, I should say. So that's what that is. What did I miss? You have to leave because, okay, that was the one for, I think I'm good. How about you guys on TikTok? Am I missing any questions? I don't think so. I think I'm good. So anyway, I will be back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time because this is what we do. And in the group at 3, I hope you have like the best day ever on the face of the planet. And I'm going to go and answer questions. I'm going to go and get Barb my Canadian link. That's what I'm going to do. So, all right. Have a super great day, you guys. See you later.